Hi Flosstube, that's Karen. I'm the recovering monogamous stitcher. I am here with my Flosstube episode number 10. I've reached double digits, yay. This is Friday, January 6th, 2023, the day I'm recording this, and presumably we'll get it uploaded today. I want to welcome back all of my subscribers and my wonderful commenters. I just really so much appreciate your support and your following. And if you're new here, you're very welcome. I hope you see something that you enjoy and that you will choose to come back again too. I would love that. And I'd like to know how you found my channel. Did it pop up in your feed or did some other Flosstuber shout me out? If so, I would love to know that so I can thank them. We have such a wonderful Flosstube community. You know, everyone is so supportive of each other. It's just been a wonderful experience having my Flosstube channel. Okay, I'm going to be doing a review of my stitching life in 2022. I have finalized my plans for 2023, so I have a plan going forward, how I'm going to accomplish my goals. And I have a WIP parade for those projects I'm carrying into this year from last year. I have 2 weeks of stitching to share with you, and I have a little bit of haul. So I'm going to get right going on it. Okay, 2022 in review. At the start of 2022, I carried 10 WIPs from 2021 into 2022. I got those all finished by August. I had other starts in there too, but the last of my WIPs that I had carried over were finished in August. I had a total of 40 finishes last year. So 10 of them were the WIPs from the previous year. 12 of those finishes were Bird Crush Club stitches, so they were relatively small. They were not large samplers. One was a model stitch. That was exciting to me. Judy Whitman at JBW Designs was gracious enough to accept my offer to stitch a model for her. She didn't know me from Adam and said, yes, here's the PDF and have at it. So I stitched O'er the Fields, the white thread on red fabric version. That was such a thrill. I can't thank Judy enough for that. That was wonderful. I started this Flosstube channel on September 1st. That was the first day of Sampler September. And the result has just been wonderful. I am amazed at the number of followers that I have. Another result of starting the Flosstube channel was that Central KY Stitchers made connections and started getting together, and even while I'm in Florida, they're meeting, and I'm so thrilled to have some face-to-face actual stitching friends to meet with. And I've made many online friendships too. Some other Flosstubers, you know, we make comments back and forth and supporting, and that's been wonderful. And I know that sometime if I go to a retreat, it's going to be wonderful to meet face-to-face with some people I've met online. There have just been many online friendships, and the commenters, I recognize names of many of you that come back over and over and make comments. It's so much fun to, oh, I know that name, I recognize that handle. So it's been a wonderful 2022, I would say, was a wonderful stitching year for me. I started the year, you know, I call it a solitary craft. You know, you're just in your home, in your little stitchy corner, and you do your stitching, but if you don't have connections with other people, you know, it's I don't know, it's just sad. I mean, you know, other people would like to show interest, but if they're not stitchers, they really don't get it. We get it. We get the jargon. We know what we're talking about, and we just appreciate the work of others and the work of designers and everything. So it's been wonderful. I have 2.6K subscribers. I'm blown away. As we get closer to 3,000, I want you to know I'm planning a 3,000 subscriber giveaway. I have 2 project bags so far. That's what I've gathered for giveaway. So if you've just kind of been lurking, please subscribe, and then you can maybe get a project bag or something. Okay, so that was my 2022 wrap-up, my stitching year wrap-up. And I have finalized my plans for 2023 as to how I want to move forward and meet my goals. In the last Flosstube, I said that I would like to concentrate on samplers in 2023, and that's what I'm planning to do, and that's the way I'm moving forward. The two rules that I have for myself that are in stone and not changing are that my oldest WIP is my focus, and I give myself 7 days in a month to stitch on my focus piece. I always have a red sampler in the works, and I give that at least 3 days in the month. Those rules are staying the same. I also showed you last time the box, the Katie Strachan's project. She called it Simple Harmony. I'm going to call mine Forget Me Not. It's a box on which I will be commemorating 6 generations in the maternal line in my family, and I've decided that I need to give that 5 days every month, and if I decide during the year I'm not getting it done fast enough, I may give it more time. I just have to judge it. I will be spending a lot of my time on that project, doing some charting and plotting out how I will put the initials, because I have 3 initials for the person, their first name, their birth name, and a married name, and that's not the way Katie's is. She had single initials, and that's the way Jacob's pattern is, with single initials. So I'm going to be doing some changes, so a lot of the time I put on that won't even be stitching. I've also allotted myself 3 days in a month to work on smalls or seasonal. And last year, in 2022, smalls and seasonal got squeezed out. I had my plan for 2022, and then at the last minute, I added the Stitch Along with Fat Quarter Shop and Lori Holt of Flea Market Baskets. Great project. I love that, but of course that takes more stitching time. And I also added Bird Crush Club. I hadn't planned on that until just last minute, and added Bird Crush Club. And again, they weren't big, but that takes some more days out of the month. So just the smalls and seasonals got squeezed out. So this year I have that apportioned out. I'm planning at least 3 days for smalls and seasonal. And then 7 days on a sampler. Now, not my red sampler and not my focus piece, but 7 days on a sampler, hopefully coming from my basket of already kitted. It can be one that I've already started working on, or it can be a new start. I don't care, but I'm 7 days working on samplers, so that every month I should be making some good progress on samplers. I'll see how many of those samplers I can get through next year. So that's my plan going forward. That totals 25 days. So every single month I will still have some days for flexibility to give extra time on something. If something comes up, like if anyone wants me to stitch a model or anything, just saying, I could fit that in. So I think it's a reasonable plan for me. I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable not having too many WIPs though. So if I start to get too many WIPs on those samplers, I may spend, more time getting them finished before starting a new one. I don't know. I'll just see how that works and how it goes along. So those are my plans for 2023. Going ahead. My WIPs. Okay, so starting in 2023, I have 5 WIPs that I'm carrying over from 2022, and I'm going to do that WIP parade now. The first one, the oldest one, is my focus, Christmas at Hollyberry Farm by Stacy Nash. I'm stitching this on 36 count Oaken by Picture This Plus. And I'm using Gentle Arts threads. Let's see if I can get, oh, for heaven's sakes, I'm just going to be flipping things around here. Okay. Now, I haven't stitched on this since my last Flosstube. I'll show you what I concentrated on after the last Flosstube. But so I can get this done this year. Absolutely. No problem. So that's Christmas at Hollyberry Farm. And I have to take a minute to put it back. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, the next WIP that's coming in is Halloween Quaker by Leela Studio. I'm stitching this on 40 count Tornado from Fox and Rabbit. And I'm using a combination of Classic Colorworks and DMCs. Just a minute here. Which way is up? Okay, so that's the second WIP that's carrying over. It's been a fun stitch. I got this, the white on the moon, I got that DMC thread that shines in the dark or glows in the dark or something. I don't see that mine glows in the dark, and it's kind of a pain to work with, just like Kreinik is. So I don't know if I should have done that or not, but I did. Thought I'd try, do something a little fun for the grandkids. Okay, the next WIP, number 3, from Brenda Gervais, the Snowball. There are 7 small projects in this booklet. I have stitched 5 of them and hope to get the last 2 done. So I'm counting it as a WIP, even though the patterns that I started I've finished, but I have 2 that aren't finished. So I'm counting it as a WIP. I'll get the board. Okay. Let's see if I can't see what I'm doing at all. I'm in my own way here. There's 4. Where's the 5? Oh, there's the 5th one down there. What? How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I did start on 6, so there you go. I lied. I do have a partial one. So yes, indeed, this is a WIP. So that'll slip in on some of those days for smalls or seasonals. That'll be good. I'm using all DMC for that. Is that right? Yes, all DMC. Okay, the 4th WIP is Baby It's Cold Outside from Heartstring Samplery. I started this on August 24th for Leanne's Legacy, and that's the only day I gave to this project, so it needs some more love. I'm stitching it on 18 count Vintage Country Mocha. Well, there's just such a small little amount there. I started the border. That's all I got done in the day. I don't even know how much time I had in that day, but okay, so that's continuing. Looks like I'll have quite a bit of Vintage Country Mocha left over for another project. I always like that. Oh, this project bag. I did a flamingo bag. I don't think I showed this before. Because I'm in Florida half the year. I found this really cute charm. In fact, it came, I don't know if it came 4 of them or 5 or something, so I have several of these charms, the flamingo charms. Anyway. Fun bag. Okay, and the fifth WIP carrying over is The Rose and the Giant Pear from Hands Across the Sea. I started this in Sampler September. I'm stitching it on 40 count Cream and Sugar from Fiber on a Whim. I'm probably about halfway. I think I'm halfway. So that's another Hands Across the Sea sampler I want to get done. So those are the 5 WIPs. And eventually, of course, they become the oldest WIP and they move up to being the focus piece and so forth. That's the way I work it. Okay, I've had 2 weeks of stitching since the last Flosstube. My last Flosstube was on December 23rd. On that day, and for the full week after, I concentrated on Rosetta Featherstone and got her finished. If you watch if you subscribe to me on Instagram, you saw I posted this was done. Ta-da, done. This was my birthday start in February 2022. And I just decided I wanted it done before the new year so I could, you know, guilt-free start another sampler on my birthday. And I did give her the quick little swim in coffee. I think I left it in about 3 minutes, took it out and rinsed it. It was less time than I had done with my sample, but it's virtually the same color as my sample. It didn't make any difference. So, and to my eye, it just gives just enough toning down of that background that doesn't look glaring white, and I'm very, very happy with that. It says Rosetta Featherstone. That's another Hands Across the Sea, and she is all ironed and will go back in the project roll so I can take her in for framing when I get back to Kentucky. Sorry, I have this tickle. Okay, so that's the finish of Rosetta Featherstone, and I finished her on December 30th. On the 31st, right, am I getting confused here? No, on the 31st, I spent some time at my sewing machine, sewing some other projects. I made this Lori Holt bag. It's a gusseted bag, big enough to hold, you know, crochet yarns and so forth, or whatever, knitting yarns, anything. Now it comes as a panel, printed panel. I bought mine from Fat Quarter Shop. I'm sure it's available in quilt stores also. But she has panels to make a project bag. This fabric is meant to be either the outside or the lining, and then the other panel, which is looks granny square crochets, is meant to be either the outside or the inside. Well, I wanted to get 2 bags out of it. So at Hobby Lobby, I just found a kind of a generic fabric that the colors went with it, and I made a lining. So I will do the other bag, and I'll have 2 bags like this, but one will have the other fabric on the outside of it. So anyway, I did that with batting and did a little quilting on it. The gusset was a nice addition to it. I was glad to see how she did that. And I watched her tutorial. She has a tutorial on how she does these, and that was very helpful also. Also on that day at the sewing machine, I made another bobbin folder using Tiger Lily Designs pattern, but I just made it as a separate folder. So instead of putting in the folder, I backed it and did it like this. Now, this is full because it's for my new start that I started on New Year's Day. So I had this smaller folder that I had done. I mean, this baby takes, there are 24 here and another, 8 here. So it takes a lot of colors. This is Jane Hopkins, 1875, Hands Across the Sea. Isn't it beautiful? I love it. Of course, I love it. Okay. Now, Laura DeWitt announced on, well, I saw it on New Year's Eve day on Instagram that there's a stitch along for this, Jane Hopkins, and I believe she and the group of people who are doing this are planning to do the first week of every month, stitch on a Hands Across the Sea sampler. Now, as long as I can continue with that, I'll do that. But my plan moving ahead is for that, 1 week on a sampler, and if it doesn't turn out to be the first week of the month, that, oh well, it'll be whatever it is. And I have to be careful about not taking every exit that looks like it has something interesting, because then you never get to your destination. And that's kind of what I did last year. I kind of got off my plan, and the seasonals and smalls didn't fit. So I'm going to stick with my plan, even if I miss some fun-looking sals or whatever, because I really want to get samplers done. This is my year to get samplers done. So I started Jane Hopkins, and I used Sherry cross-stitch, Sherry Colorado cross-stitcher, her way of doing the board, and now I can't even talk. half stitches to do the border to make sure it meets up before you put all your time in. Okay, so look at that. I ate my vegetables first, guys. Look. Look, look, look. Woo-wee. The border matched. So I did the half stitches around and I was off by 1 stitch. So I went back, checked, count the pattern, count the fabric, and I found my mistake, took it out, which was easy because it was just half stitches, and then made it meet up, added the second color on the border, and then yesterday I was ready to start the dessert, some of the fun stuff, so I got started down in that corner. So this is Jane Hopkins, 1875. It was my New Year's Day start? Well, open your book, Karen, find out. Yeah, it was my New Year's Day start. Yes, heaven's sakes. So that one is the first one of those samplers that I'm concentrating on. Let me get this stuff all back in the bag now. Okay, it's Jane Hopkins. And then, let's see, finish rose, new start. Okay, haul. I have a little bit of haul. My Stitch Me Fabric of the Month fabric came, and I ordered 40 count linen, and this is her color Honey. It's such a pretty, it really does look like honey, kind of an amber. It's not just yellow, it's not orange, it's kind of an amber color. It's very, very pretty. So that's the first bit of my haul. The next bit of haul I have is for my next red sampler, because I finished Helene Schnoor last year, JBW Designs, Helene Schnoor. That's pictured on my Instagram and it's in my last video. I'm going to start Maria Vincenza Larica. I don't know how to pronounce that. Our good friend at Once Upon a Stitch, Lori, would know how to pronounce it. Give me a hint, Lori, how to say that last name. I would like to be correct. So this is my next red sampler in my rotation. And the model for this, okay, let me read down the back here. The model for this, it used a fabric that had a different thread count on the warp and the weft of the fabric, which my little pea brain could not wrap its head around. And how would I know which direction to turn the fabric and get it started? That freaked me out. So I did not get that. And then ended up buying 56 count. It'll be my first time stitching at 56 count. So yikes. I do have a good magnifier in light though, so you know, I'm really not that worried about it. And in consultation with the wonderful people at the Attic, said cream was a close color to what the model was stitched on, and it really is. See, whoops, I don't know. I think it looks great. And the thread is a Soie d'Alger, no, Soie. It's number 2523, and it looks a bit like it's a bit faded. I don't know, no, it's shiny now, so I don't know if you can see, but it just has a slight faded look to it, which I think is perfect for this sampler. So that's the last bit of my haul. That's for my red sampler, the first one of 2023. Let me get this put away. I do my list, it sounds like I have so much stuff and I have so many things piled, and I just zip through it. So that's the end of my haul. I plan to film again in 2 weeks, and I will give you an update on how my plan is going and what I've stitched, and I look forward to getting some comments from people. I love reading the comments, and I hope to see you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.